Science is making the same mistakes, but Uncle Sam's on Mars, and no one down here.
Some exciting trends on the move. So, for example, HubSpot has ChatSpot coming out. We have Salesforce coming out with Einstein, and these are AI platforms that sit on top, and you can feed in to get certain data responses. So, imagine like their own kind of Chat GPT-4 that sits on a system and learns and does things. These will come to full fruition in the next 18 months. They're not there yet, but they're on their way. And these are exciting things that are happening, right? Exciting betas that are happening within them. And this is going to be able to articulate data in the way that you're looking for. So, the winners of this are obviously going to be the big platforms that are investing in it, right? And this is what people have to pay attention to. If they're not investing in AI, and they're not some of the names I just listed, and there are some others, you have to be very careful, because is that horse going to win the race for you? Is that the one you should be betting on? And that this is where factions are going to kind of move left and move right. And what am I using? Am I using Outreach? Am I using SalesLoft? What complementary selling technologies have I stacked on top? Who are my data providers? What data is good, right? In the noise of email and new laws and legislation on spam coming out from Gmail, how are you actually going to get through there? People used to rely on mass email and all these different things. That's still going to be there. It's still going to work. So people have to understand that you can't cut that out of your business. But we're also going to be going back to a lot of calling. I guarantee you there's going to be a shift back in a huge way, as we're seeing now, to SDRs on the phone, because this is going to be a way of getting through all that noise. LinkedIn is also getting fairly noisy, right? There's a lot of messages and things that come out through people's automations and whatever it is that they're throwing out to people. So it's trying to understand, how do we cut the noise? And these AI sales management tools, the cool thing is they're going to be able to cue in saying, this is working. Look where leads are coming from. This is where you should expand your time. And by understanding that and being able to walk through and record what we're doing every day with maybe an autonomous agent program. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, autonomous agents basically watch what a person does on their screen all day. It maps out what's effective. And then based on what others are doing, it will map out what's more effective for that person. And that's how they're developing these programs in the background, by mapping successful habits of those individuals. So this next level is going to be extremely frustrating, yet extremely productive. And those two things are going to clash. And a lot of people will get put out to pasture, for lack of better words, because they'll say, I just don't want to adapt. I just don't want to do this next thing. This is silly. And this ship is sailing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It's like being behind on a wakeboard, being towed on one of those ropes behind a cigarette boat. Like, this thing is fast, and it's going to be hard to hold on, right? But it's going to be one exciting ride, that's for sure. So, Julio,
Yeah, man, it certainly
yeah,
will. Certainly will. And I just wanted to say, I mean, I see three pathways, right, of going about this, right? You take the Netflix approach and you say, you know what, we're not going to adapt. We're all good. We're going to ride this out. And we're in a good spot. You could take the Blu-ray versus DVD approach and say, you know, I'm going to bet on this horse versus that horse. Or you could just jump in and really get in at the ground level and adopt early and don't allow the market to speed past you too quickly. And that's what I would say. I suggest everyone looks to get in that lane rather than take the Netflix or the Blu-ray approach, which generally doesn't end good for anybody in those companies.
yeah, 100%.
Right. Yeah, and to your point, I mean, exactly, right? Like with the email piece, yeah, it's still going to be needed, but now more than ever, especially with Google's changes, we're seeing that there's just a ton of need for extra additional personalization in sales interactions, like via email or whatever, right? And that's what customers expect now. They don't expect a spray and pray approach anymore. It doesn't work with them. That all the information's online. They can find stuff. They can research, and they do research. So when you do reach out, it better be in a personalized way. And I think that's where a lot of this data that you were speaking of is going to come into, I think, just really drive productivity and efficiency and optimization in people's sales processes. and knowing which pieces of content to send when and why and to who, and exactly what the result is likely to be based on a predictive model or historical model. I mean, this is great stuff, right? This is stuff I wish I would have had my entire career. So this is very exciting for me, and I think that's where it's going to really shine is helping people with the personalized engagement piece, and sales managers will have a strong role in that too, in making sure that it's facilitated to the right folks who are working on the right verticals, industries, buyer personas, etc., and they're executing on that, and really just more of a facilitator of information, and more of a coach versus the traditional management role today. So that's I think where I see things going.
Yeah, and there's so much more to say there because we look at sales from a B2B sphere, and I want people to understand B2C sales is going to change immensely with conversational intelligence and actually robo people that can act like humans. I don't know if you've seen the stuff from Google, but it's going to be wild. And managing a B2C team is going to be dramatically different from managing a B2B team. And that's because the application of technology in B2B will never go to a robo person. It just won't. Like that technicality that you need to talk about consulting, high level service, industrial manufacturing, whatever it is, when you're cold calling those individuals, you're going to need a trained human. And to replace those nuances, that's still many years away. But in a
Mhm.
B2C market where you're selling a flip phone, a flip phone, yeah, right, a smartphone, and you're selling these just gadgets or widgets that you have a very understood product market. You understand the questions people could ask and the specific responses and objections that you can handle that are very limited and have less nuance to them and less engineering to them. They're going to be able to categorize those, I think, in the next 18 to 24 months. And B2C teams might just be primarily really smart AIs dialing you up on the phone. And you really know the difference. I don't think, just from what I've seen, we won't know the difference. So that means sales managers in the future of B2C might be a whole different version. It might be AI to AI to strategist, right? And you could almost run an entire infrastructure where before you had to have 1,000 people in a call center overseas to handle everything will be able to be digested and solved through AI. And that is wild to me. That's wild. So that next level might be a crazy one because imagine all the customer service and stuff now with chatbots like Drift that are out there, or there's a couple other ones like 6sense and things like this, different providers
Mhm.
that you can put a chatbot on your website. It will autonomously learn all the questions that are on there, and then it will drift them into the answers, right? Which is pretty cool. And I imagine that when you don't have to learn customer service, or you can pre-qualify leads off the website to a point where you can now. And then there's tools where right now that Julio and I know about, you can click a button right on the website and it takes you into a video chat directly with the salesperson right from that qualification question. That's nuts. And they don't even have to have the platform. It's just click, boom, in, done, and you're talking to a rep, like the instantaneous movement. And I believe that will be fundamental that managers are going to have to pay attention to is buyers in the future are not going to want to wait, right? So that shift to immediacy is going to be dramatic. And I think it's going to happen, as I said, in the next 18 to 24 months, we're going to see a total, like we just went through a huge shift to this movement towards more sales engineering, customization, high personalization, because money has got tight in the market. The cost of capital, I think, is 3x because all the boomers now are in money market funds or whatever else. They're not investing in projects. Projects are much harder to raise money for. So the buyer now is much more astute, and there's less quantitative easing going on at a federal level or across the world right now. So that means that that tightening has caused everyone in their sales cycle to have to be more specific, more tactical, more on point than we've ever been before. And even when they open the money spigot back up in the future, I believe that this rapid progression since this tightening cycle has happened is going to carry over into this next generation because the AI has been developed to ask the hard questions, to point out this. There's not going to be money to throw around so easily anymore. So buyers are going to become so sophisticated that if you don't have this AI sales management thing worked out, you're going to be left behind because you won't qualify for that next stage. What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
that?
yeah, totally true. Totally, I love it. I think it's exactly what I'm thinking as well. And a nice lead in, I think, because what I see happening now is this because of the economic uncertainty and there like what is going to happen, we don't know. I mean, obviously things will get better, but it's uncertain and what the timeline looks like. So everybody needs to focus on high value activities, right? High value, totally true. Totally, I love it. I think it's exactly what I'm thinking as well. And a nice lead in, I think, because what I see happening now is this because of the economic uncertainty and there what is going to happen, we don't know. I mean, obviously things will get better, but it's uncertain and what the timeline looks like. So everybody needs to focus on high value activity.
Thanks for watching and keep removing those revenue roadblocks. If you want more videos like this, follow our channel for fresh, new content every day. Check out our RevOps playlist, or how about this video chosen just for you? See you next time.